Hi everyone. Today I am going to take about the topic textile printing. In that we are going to see elaborately on different types of printings. Now first we are going to see what is printing. Here the textile printing is the process of applying colors to fabric in definite patterns or designs. In properly printed fabrics, the color is bonded with the fibers so as to resist washing and frictions. In printing, wooden blocks, stencils, engraved plates, rollers, or silk screens can be used to place colors on the fabric. The first type of printing is block printing. It is the oldest and simplest way of printing. In this method, a wooden block with a raised pattern on the surface was dipped in the printing colorant and then pressed face down onto the fabric. The desired pattern was obtained by repeating the process using different colors. Generally, the wooden block is carved out of hand. The printing is done manually mostly. These are the images of block printing. The first image shows the wooden block engraved with certain designs, and the second image shows the colorant applied on the block and impregnated on the fabric. And the next type of printing is stencil printing. It is one of the oldest way of printing. A stencil is prepared by cutting out a design from a flat sheet of paper, metal, or plastic films. In it, color is applied onto the fabric by brushing or spraying the intrinsicate of the pattern cut out from a flat sheet of metal or waterproof paper or plastic sheet or laminated sheet. These are the images of stencil printing. We can do it by sponges or by certain colorant apply on the fabric using these stencils. The next type of printing is the screen printing. It involves the application of the printing paste through a fine screen placed in contact with the fabric to be printed. A design is created in reverse on the screen by blocking area of the screen with a material such as an opaque paint. The screen is then placed over the fabric and the printing paste is forced through the open areas of the screen using a flexible synthetic rubber or steel blade known as switch. These are the two types of screen printing. One is done as manual and second is a big machine with various screens with colorants. The next type of printing is flat screen printing. It is the advanced version of screen printing by using automatic machine to do work. It consists of printing table, conveyor belt, number of screens, mechanisms to print on the fabric. First, the fabric is brought to the printing table through a feeding arrangement and it is gummed to the conveyor belt on the table. For that, the fabric will not move here and there. So the conveyor brings fabric periodically under screen. Printing paste is distributed throughout the full length of the screen. The squeeze is pressed on the screen by one or more strokes of the screens. The design is transferred to the fabric. This is the image of flat screen printing. The next type of printing is rotary printing. The rotary printing involves a series of revolving metal cylinders, each with revolving screens, each with a stationary squeeze, instead which forces the printing paste onto the fabric. 20 or more colors can be printed on the same time. The process is much quicker and more efficient than flat screen printing. Here are the images of rotary screen printing. In the second image, we are shown three colors application on the single fabric. The next type of printing is the discharge printing. Discharge printing is also called as extract printing. Discharge printing is a screen printing process where the same technique and equipments are used by instead of normal ink, discharge inks are used as it removes the fabric dye instead of applying a color on surface of the fabric. Thus, it is a method of applying a design to dyed fabric by printing a color destroying agent such as chlorine, hydrosulfide or bleach out of a white or light patterns on the darker colored ground. These are the two images of discharge printing. The next is the resist printing. Resist printing is a popular technique for printing colors on fabric where a resist paste or material is imprinted on the fabric dyed. We can do resist printing with glue, wax or printing blocks. Resist printing, any of various methods of coloring cloth in a design or pattern by pre-treating design areas to resist the penetration by the dyes. These are the two images which shows the resist print on the fabric material. The next type of printing is the batik printing. Here the originated on island of Java and is a cottage-based industry. Batik is derived from word ambatik. It is a resist dyeing process whereby designs are made with wax on a fabric which is subsequently immersed in a dye to observe the color on the unwaxed portions is known as the batik printing. Special feature is the fine lines of colors running irregularly across the fabrics. These are the two images which shows the batik type printing and the colorants applied on the fabrics. The next type of printing is the tie and dye technique. It is same as that of batik printing, but here the dye is resisted by knots that are tied in the cloth before it is immersed in dye bath. The outside of the knotted portion is dyed, but inside is not penetrated if the knot is firmly tied. This gives a characteristic blurred or molted effects. And some types of tie and dye techniques are ombre, folding tie and dye, and sunburst, salt resist, gradation, painting, resist, or sponge technique. These are the two images which shows the tie and dye technique of printing. Here they have used some colors is like pink, green, yellow, orange and red with purple. Here the next type of printing is the transfer printing. The transfer printing was first developed to embellish on ceramics, not on the clothings. The technique was born around the 1750s in England and quickly spread to other parts of Europe, where it caught on. Back then the process involved a copper or steel plate or the rollers that are engraved with the decorative elements. So it is an indirect method of printing in which dyes are transferred from paper to a thermoplastic fabric under controlled conditions of temperature, time and pressure. The image is first engraved on a copper plate. Then pigment is applied on these plates. The image is then transferred to a piece of paper with a large layer of glue applied. This is then placed on the fabric and heated and pressure applied which fixes the print on the fabric. In this image we have shown the transfer printing method. First, they are printing the design on a paper and it is transferred to a fabric by the fusing method. Here they are applying the heat on the paper which was inversely placed on the fabric and it was transferred by the heat onto the fabric. So this is the transfer printing technique. Thus, in a nutshell, we are learned about textile printing, whereas the textile printing is related to dyeing. But in dyeing properly, the whole fabric is uniformly covered with one color, whereas in printing, one or more colors are applied to it in certain parts only and in sharply defined patterns. So next we have seen about the different types of printings as block printing, stencil printing, screen printing. In screen printing, rotary and roller printings and discharge printing, resist printings and transfer printing. The history of printings, where it has been originated, etc. all have been seen. The methods of printings, the applications of design on fabric through printing and various techniques of printing have been seen in this topic. Thank you. Thank you.